Hello everyone and welcome to the inaugural event here at Fresh Sim Racing. We are watching the Vintage Touring Cars round 1 at Brands Indy. This is the footage from the sprint race. It's very nice to have you here. The race recorded, but this commentary is live. We're going to go quick run through the grid. In the red 35 Mercedes you have Ambient next to 8 Ball and the copper colour car there. Sam, something in 31 black car. Enter and Sorts is in the 30 white Mercedes. In the green 5 BMW is Ben. 29 red Momo is Lord of Lincoln. And then 9 car BMW there is Nathbit next to 45 car of Renier team. Behind him we have the 59 BMW of Ollie next to the 10 BMW of Wayne. And rounding up the grid we have Jeff in the silver car BMW. We see cars lining up on the grid, waiting for the green lights, and they're away. Fantastic start by the Mercedes on the outside line there. 8 Ball looking like he's got to run into the first corner. Thinking better off, it pulls out as they go into the paddock hill bend for the first time. Everyone seems to be across the line, off the line clearly into the first corner. No incident so far. As we go into the tight corner here at Druids, Sam having a little bit of moment on the curb, giving into the opportunity behind in the white Mercedes, but all drivers still driving nice and clean, no incidents so far. It's the first race of the season in these cars for these guys, so expecting a little bit of nerves from the drivers and potentially a few errors here or there. We'll see what we've got to come. We're just watching the leaders come in to finish the first lap. Mikey 8 Ball there in the 83 copper BMW chasing Ambient Stub up the hill. With Sam in tow, he's looking like he's going to be able to take a move, looking on the inside. Mikey on the outside, brakes a little bit earlier, trying to get the undercut if possible. A little bit wide on exit there. And that's given into the opportunity to have a look on the inside of Druids, and that's Mikey lost 2 places in 2 corners as we're watching footage here. The 59 car, that is Ollie. Ollie's coming into the pits. Not a mandatory pit in this race. 15-minute sprint race. Unless he's got damage in the first lap. Doesn't look like he's going to be stopping to me. That looks like a drive-through. I wonder if Ollie Messiah had an instant there off the line. So watching the replay. Yeah, it looks to me the lights are on red. He's had a bit of a movement there. Watching on board with number 10, Wayne. Yeah, definitely moving there from Holly as a drive-through penalty as we're watching Wayne get a little bit leery actually off the start. Same for Lord of Lincoln's. BMW has a lot of power off the line, a lot of torque. Let's watch the opening lap here. We're on board with the Reds 29 BMW Lord of Lincoln. That's the first 4 drivers get away nice and clean. There's that moment from Sam on the inside corner around Druids. These BMWs have a lot more power than the Mercedes have a lot more power than the BMWs. But the BMWs are more stable around the corner. Lord of Lincoln runs wide at the bottom of the corner there. You see him lift off the power. That's a slow down penalty he's avoiding there. That lets Ben Apex through the green number 5 BMW, and that's a car coming really wild into the picture there. I want to see what makes for the corner. Let's have a look. Riding on board with the 45 car of Renier team. As we see number 9, that's Nathbit running wide, going for a move, not able to stop the car getting very sideways. That's a bit of a moment there from Renier and Nathbit as they're coming up the hill. Does Renier look for a move? There's all the footage of the opening lap, replay of the opening lap so far. Lord of Lincoln getting very drifty in that BMW, opens the door for Renier team as they come up to Druids. Renier nicely on the brakes, little bit of understeer on the apex of the corner, but managed to make the stick out of Renier team up into 6th place. We're back on board live here with Sam Thumpfinger, who's 2nd position. Ambient Stubbs out in front, and the 3rd Mercedes, white Mercedes of Inter, is in 3rd. The black and white Mercedes are teammates here for Black Hammer Project as we see them battling away. The race is settled quite nicely down to a nice bit of rhythm now. We're on lap 3, these drivers here. Ambient Stub in the red Mercedes leads Sam Thumbfinger in the black Mercedes, who's in front of Inter, and behind him there's Mikey and Ben rounding out the top 5. We're using the short circuit here at Brands Hatch Indy. This is going to have very close racing, hopefully, between these drivers as they're entering onto lap 3 or lap 4 here, which will mean there's about 11 minutes of racing yet to go. These top 4 drivers starting to gap Ben Apex behind as Sam looks for a move on the inside. Well defended by Mr. Will. Sam looks to have the undercut. A little bit of a friendship tap there. These drivers are competing for the drivers and team championships. Ambient Stub is in a separate team to these 2 Mercedes, so 3 Mercedes out on track. The rest of the field are BMW drivers as Sam moves off the racing line to serve a slowdown penalty. That frees up Inter into second place and gives Ambient some breathing room. Can Mikey, or 8-Ball as he's known in the PlayStation Network world, yep, there's more slowdown penalties there for Sam. That frees up Mikey around the corner and Ben Apex will then follow him through. Good driving there for Sam, getting well off the line, let the drivers through. Does he have the pace in his Mercedes to catch these guys up? As we're looking at a replay here of the number 7 BMW, that's Jeff Spencer, just clipping the inside of the apex there. That spun his car around, car not stable through that corner. Yeah, just see him, watch him get back on track, and that's the number 10 BMW of Wayne. Oh, there's a bit of a moment there between the 2 drivers. Both drivers blindsided as they come to the apex that corner. And we're back live, keeping an eye on Ben Apex, who's closed up the gap a little bit to 8-Ball, but he is under pressure from Sam. That Mercedes has a lot more grunt to come up the straight. Another half of the power again for the BMW, but it is a much heavier car. So I expect the Mercedes to power up the hill here. Wonder if Ben has the ability to defend into the first corner as they come down Paddock Hill. Ben taking a nice shallower line. This gives Sam all the work to do on the outside. Defends the inside line again. Sam looking for a move around the outside. Not to do there. Ben very robust in his defence. Very fair. Opens up a little bit of a gap. Will Sam look for the undercut as we come into the left hand? A little bit of sideways movement there as Sam clips the curb. This battle allowing the front 3 drivers to get ahead. This is a battle for 4th and 5th. Sam, another moment there where he's clipped the grass. Already had 2 incidents of slowdown penalties. He'll want to keep his race nice and consistent to be able to get back up ahead, as we see the number 7 car of Jeff Spencer coming into the pits there after that moment of damage. These guys are racing with performance damage on, so they will feel all the pain if they have a moment, as Ben goes a little bit sideways on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend, and that gives Sam a big wide open door to be able to drive through, and that's Sam up into 4th. Started in 3rd on the grid, he's now dropped down into 4th, but he's making his way back up to the field, Sam Thumbfinger, after these incidents. Ben started 5th, he still is in 5th, but it's been a very eventful race from so far. Now we're on board with our race leader, Ambient Stub, in the 85 Mercedes, red 85 Mercedes. He's been hunted down by Inter in the white Mercedes, and 8-Ball is quite close behind. He's looking to take advantage of any errors these drivers may have, but it's been a relatively quiet race for Ambient out front so far. He's getting on with what he needs to do. Fantastic time set in qualifying. A 49.6 is what put him on the pole position. The rest of the grid followed behind, short of 50 seconds, so he has 4/10 in theory and pace across the other drivers, but that's not what we're seeing out on track right now, as Ambient is still got Inter in tow. Around about lap 9, coming on to lap 9 now. Different lines you see these drivers taking as they're coming up to be able to try and maximise their speed around this corner. Very difficult corner as the track drops away. And a little bit of adverse camber, which makes you want to drive into that gravel trap on the left hand side. This is the first race of the season, the vintage touring car season, here at Fresh Sim Racing. We are a new sim racing league on PS4, racing Project Cars 2. The idea to try and get clean, fast, robust drivers. And as we're watching on board here, that is the white 45 car of Renier team having a moment in the first corner, and that's what I was talking about a moment ago, about just getting a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1 as we're watching Sam and Mikey having a battle. Sam's managed to gap Ben Apex behind fourth. This is the battle for third. Sam in the black Mercedes, Mikey in the copper BMW, the 83 BMW, defending very stoutly, braking a lot later. That BMW is a lot lighter, so he's able to try and carry more speed around this corner, but Sam is not going to give up. He's going to use all that power if he can. Very eventful race so far here for Sam. He's managed to fight his way through the field and then drop after some slowdown penalties. He's got the inside line here. Fantastic driving from these two drivers, able to keep it very clean through what get it to ever tightening track. Mikey does lead Sam as we come up to the straight. Sam's having a look on the inside. It's a little bit too late now for Mikey, able to look to defend. Will he try to carry the speed through? I think that's the power Sam's got through there, but he's gone wide on exit. He's managed to keep it off the gravel, but that gives Ben the opportunity behind, and he is not waited around. He's jumped up on the inside as I go around Druids, and that's Ben back up into fourth. That being Mercedes proven to be a bit of a handful. It has masses of pace, masses of torque and power, but very tricky, windy, twisty track here at Brands Hatch Indy. As we see there, Sam taking more slowdown penalties as we run wide. On board here with the number 9 BMW, that's Nathbit. He's locked up on entry there, and that's a bit of a moment. Just a collision with the wall. It's on the side panel there. So perfect how you want it. If you're going to want to hit the wall, you want it to hit the side, up the corner, so you don't damage the suspension. And that's left Renier team up into 6th place. As we're now watching Ben chase down 8-Ball. Yeah, both guys in the BMW. So they're in very similar cars, but they're being driven both very well, and they're both having different races. Ben started off 5th. He managed to get up the grid and drop down a little bit, but now he's fighting his way back up after the errors of the black Mercedes behind. Ben looking to try and work an opening here on the twisty part of this course. As I go through Clark Curve up onto the straight. Ben's having a look on the inside. Mikey's giving him the room, giving him the opportunity there. Thought about closing the door, but didn't want to compromise his line. That's giving him the breathing room, a car length gap to behind Ben behind. Ben's closed up on the exit of the corner. I'm going to look around to Druids. Mikey defends, gives Ben the hard work to do around the outside. Ben keeps it nice and composed, looking on the inside as they come down into Graham Hills. What to do, there's a back marker there. That is the number 7 Jeff Spencer, who had the moment after hitting the curb on this left-hander they're coming to now. Stays way clear of the curb here and well off the racing line. Lets these front runners drive through. Good racing there by Jeff. Fortunate to have a small incident with the rear-wheel drive BMW earlier on in the race. Trying to make his way back through the field. As Sam here looks on the outside of Ben and has the power up the hill, but Ben's later on the brakes, looking in the inside corner, not able to fight back the power that Mercedes just drive away off the corner. Another replay here. This is on board with number 9 Nathbit chasing down 45 of Renier team. Nathbit had an issue here on a couple of laps ago. No such issues now. A little bit of rubbing between the two drivers as they're coming up onto the home straight. Napa has the inside line, but Renier team in the 45 car has the better line on the outside. Can he carry the speed through? Little bit of a lock up there for Renier team. Napa taking a tighter line. Renier team hitting a little bit of the gravel, but he's able to get the momentum out as they come up to Druids, and the move is done. Great fighting there, good battling from Renier team, just unable to keep the number 9 BMW behind. As we're back with another battle out front here, and that is Sam fighting all over the back of Mikey once again. Something we've seen a couple of times so far in this short race here. The laps are starting to wind down, the time is winding down. It's around about lap 15, so approximately 3 or 4 laps left to go as Sam runs wide again on the exit of turn 1. Will that be a slowdown penalty that he needs to take? He does. He pulls off the racing line and allows Ben back through. Small errors here from Sam, just stopping him from racing competitively with these guys and be able to catch the front guys. And out front it is Ambient Stub out front who is leading into all sorts. And then the following battle of the drivers here, you can see Mikey in 3rd, Ben Apex in 4th, and Sam Thumbfinger in 5th. These front 5 have pulled away considerably from the rest of the field, as you just see the blue and silver BMW of Wayne in shot there. He'll be moving out of the way of the racing line of these drivers, I'm sure. That BMW just not comfortable coming over Paddock Hill Bend, as the change of elevation doesn't suit it. Replay here of Renier team looking to fight back into number 9 BMW. Has a moment on the inside of the corner. Has to run wide, and that's let Lord of Lincoln up into 7th. Lord of Lincoln had a fantastic start with slowdowns and moments. He's dropped down the field. This is your race leader. Ambient Stub just starting lap 17. Approximately 1 minute of racing left to go, so one more lap after this. The 35 red Mercedes. So a really quiet race in terms of battling with the drivers, but he's done what he needs to do, and he's out front. He has about a 5-second gap over Inter in 2nd. who again had a very quiet race, had to battle at the start to get to where he is, but these two drivers going to... That's a moment there. Is that ambience slowing down? Is that a slow down penalty he's adhered to there as we're coming into the final corner? Does seem a little bit slow as he's coming up the hill. In the red Mercedes, with the white Mercedes of Inter closing up behind. That gap has shortened considerably over the last few corners. Hope it's not a problem for Ambient Stub. He's had a fantastic race out front for the 14 minutes so far. This is the final lap here, the sprint race, with the feature race to follow. The results of the sprint race will set the grid for the feature race. A 45-minute approximately. It's a 52 lap race around here. This is a 15-minute sprint as we're watching Inter close up ever so slightly as they're getting into the final corners here. Ambient looks to defend, takes a shallower line as we're coming onto the back straight. Will Inter be able to use the drive of the corner, both Mercedes cars, as we're coming into the final bend and onto the final straight, and it looks ever so close, but it's Ambient. Ambient takes the win at the inaugural Fresh Sim Racing sprint race here in the Vintage Touring Cars of round 1. Inter takes second, Mikey 8-Ball takes third, Sam Thumbfinger takes fourth ahead of Ben Apex in the end, Nathbit in 6th, Lord of Lincoln in 7th, Renier team had an eventful race in 8th, Ollie after that initial penalty in 9th, Wayne in 10th, and Jeff Spencer, who had the moment around the corner, in 11th. It's been fantastic to have you all here. Hopefully we'll be able to put the footage of the feature race up for you very soon. And if you're interested in joining us, come speak to us unknown. Thank you very much for watching.